Greetings, lovely people, and welcome to Fast Track 4. So we're going to be talking about Book of Boba Fett, Episode 7, Chapter 7, In the Name of Honor. And of course, spoilers ahead for Episode 7, as well as literally the rest of the series, because I'm going to be looking back on some of the other aspects of this series as it is, because this is the finale. But yeah, roll that intro. So, first off, I just want to say what my predictions were for this episode, with it being the finale. I was expecting a few certain things to occur, and I did write them down just so I could just mention them, just so I can be like, I got this right, I got this wrong, whatever. So, I thought that Fennec would die, Cadbane would be left for dead, but not, like, for definite be killed. Grogu would choose Mando, Cobb Banff would appear last minute, so the Marshal, as I call him consistently, would appear at the very last minute and save the day, sort of thing. Not all of those were correct. Actually, in fact, most of those were incorrect, but we'll get into that. So, we start off back in Sanctuary. You know, Sanctuary is absolutely destroyed after the explosion. We don't see any bodies or anything, so we don't actually know, you know, if anyone actually survived from it. Presumably not. It is, like, pretty destroyed. But, I mean, it's completely possible. Also, I realized last episode I was calling it Paradise rather than Sanctuary. It is what it is. It's called Sanctuary. Everyone makes mistakes. We have a scene where Boba basically makes this like anti-drug speech relating to spice, which, I mean, I feel like Boba's the kind of person that would have used a lot of spice in his life. Like, he's had a very long life. He's, you know, had a lot of money because he's a bounty hunter and stuff. Like, surely he uses spice, but, you know, anti-drug Boba Fett, whatever. I don't really care too much about it. With Mando's plan of getting Freetown involved, it really feels like, and I put it verbatim in my notes, that they're putting all their eggs in one basket here. Like, they have no backup plan in case Freetown doesn't turn up. Like, they don't know at this point that the Marshal has been, like, injured or shot or whatever's happened to him. Like, they don't know that's happened. So they're still working under the impression that they're going to get Freetown to help them. And it's like, it's just a bit of a weird one, because it's like, they have no backup plan, like, no Mandalorian support, you know, they don't have, like, Ahsoka or anything helping them. Like, it seems like such a weird thing that they have so few allies, and it's like, they don't even know if one group of their allies is even going to help them. So it's like, I don't know, it's a bit of a plot hole in a lot of ways. It's for tension, I know, but, like, I don't know, it kind of bugged me that it's like, they just kind of focus so much on Freetown helping them, that it's like, surely they could have at least shown a little montage of Mando or Boba just going around other groups that, like, we've met throughout Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, to just be like, could you help? Maybe even contact, like, I don't know, like, a New Republic characters that we know of that, like, are friendly with the Mandalorian stuff. I don't know. It'd been interesting, but yeah, we have all of the different groups, all the factions of our, like, main cast that are split up. Actually, before that, the mods are very pro-Esper all of a sudden in this episode, and I don't remember that being really a thing that they did. They were kind of anti-authority and stuff, and didn't really like Mos Espa that much, so it seems weird that they suddenly just kind of become very pro-Mos Espa, but whatever. Okay, so Cadbane returns to the Pikes. We get a scene with him talking with the Pikes, and the mayor, who is on world, isn't, like, gone. Last episode, I had that thing about a sanctioned vacation. That was a joke about the mayor. I just forgot when I was doing the video what that note was for. I remembered in between. And we get confirmation that the Tuskens were, in fact, killed by the Pikes. We still don't know what necessarily happened to certain Tuskens that we never saw the bodies of. Namely, the female leader one and the child. But, like, presumably they must be dead, or they would have shown up or something in this episode. Or maybe that'll just be explored in Book of Boba Fett 2. I don't know. But, yeah, we do get confirmation that the Nectar Speedbikers weren't the ones that did it. It was the Pike Syndicate. And, yeah, we kind of knew that already. Like, it was to be assumed that was the case. We didn't know for certain, but that was to just... I definitely expected that, personally. We then have an X-Wing land with the mechanic, who I've still yet to learn the name of, and I refuse to. But yeah, an X-Wing lands there, and lo and behold, it's got R2 in it. I was so sure this was going to be Luke with Grogu, but no, it's just Grogu. Luke could not be bothered to turn up, and I find that absolutely hilarious. Like, honestly, Luke is potentially like the worst character, like based off his appearances in Mandalorian season 2 and the Book of Boba Fett. He is an awful human being who just like kind of abandons his problems, and like I don't know. I think that might just be my perspective, but it really like caught me off guard when he just wasn't there, when it was just R2 delivering Grogu back. It was so dumb. But yeah, turns out, I was correct about that. Grogu chose Mando. That's a tongue twister and a half. But yeah, Grogu, decided to wear the shiny Beskar armor rather than the lightsaber. I can't wait to find out what actually happened to that lightsaber. Now that Grogu doesn't have it. I don't know. It's such a dumb situation, personally. And the thing that annoys me more than anything is that because Grogu isn't with Luke anymore, we may never find out more about Grogu's backstory. We may never find out who saved him in the Jedi Temple. And, like, I was very much expecting that it was going to either be, we found out in this episode who it was, we found out a bit more of his backstory, or it was going to be a case of, we were going to have Grogu stay with Luke for a bit longer, and we were going to find out in, like, Mando Season 3, but no, I guess we're just not going to find out unless, like, Ahsoka... Maybe in the Ahsoka series we'll find out more. That'd be interesting. But yeah. The mods are anything but inconspicuous. They're driving around in their bright Power Ranger-coloured bikes and just nodding at the various allies that they have. Right, so the this is the point at which everyone is split up. We have the Gamorreans in the Klatooinian territory, which is the starport. Kasantan is in the Trandoshan territory, which seems like a bad idea, but I mean, whatever. And then the mods are in the remaining territory that I've completely forgotten I didn't write it down for some reason. I don't know what the other species is, but the other crime family, the mods are in that area. And it's the species that like bleeds when they're cut with a lightsaber. I can't remember what they are, but the ones with like the bug faces, I can't remember. That's a reference to episode 4 of that's a reference to New Hope, by the way. I'm not just randomly saying like, oh yeah, this species bleeds. Like, no, what about the fact that Obi-Wan cuts one of their arms off and it bleeds? But anyway, Cadbane manages to sneak up on Boba, Mando, the Fennec Shand, and the Mayor's right-hand guy. So yeah, the defenses aren't very good because Cad can just walk through it because he's not conspicuous. Cad Bane, like, is very obviously a threat at any point with how he is. But yeah, Cad Bane managed to sneak up. He says that Boba's gone soft in his old age, and then it turns out it's all a trap, and the crime families, the crime bosses, whatever, have actually been working with the Pikes this entire time, with them all attacking our, heroes, Kasantan, the Gamorreans, and the mods. With the Gamorreans literally being thrown off a cliff. That's not a joke. That's not like, haha, funny, they got thrown off a cliff. No, they are dead. The Gamorreans were killed in this episode, straight up. Kasantan is eventually defeated by a load of Trandoshans, which, I mean, is definitely understandable because Trandoshans literally hunt Kasantan species for sport. But, yeah, I mean, I wasn't in charge of putting Kasantan in Trandoshan territory, but, whatever. And eventually, the mods are saved by Fennec. They managed to last long enough. A few of them do die, which, I mean, makes sense that they'd show the large group lose some numbers. And they are saved by Fennec, who is passing by to be able to travel all the way to Mos Eisley to be able to take down the Pikes herself. And, yeah, this was the point as all the Pike Syndicate members actually ran on to Sanctuary, which is where, Boba and Mando and all them have been hanging out. This is when it kind of clicked that Mando is essentially a walking tank, and I don't have to worry about him. Like, because he legitimately, like, he can't take damage from blaster bolts. Like, he barely gets damaged by explosions. Like, it's barely a thing, so it's just, I don't know. But yeah, we basically get told by Mando that the creed's important. It means that he's not going to abandon Boba, which is all nice and everything. Boba just basically says that the creed's spam for fodder, and Mando just says, well, I believe in it, so whatever. We then have some negotiations with the mayor's right-hand guy, which is fun. We get a whole spiel about him being from Coruscant and stuff like that, and, you know, being a negotiator and stuff. The negotiations go terribly, because Boba basically says that I'll give you nothing in exchange for you fucking off. And that leads to, what was it Anakin called it? Aggressive negotiations? Is that what it's called? But anyway, there's an aerial attack by Boba and Mando. They fly up and kill dozens of Pikes. And once again, as I say, Mando and kind of Boba, in some respects, are basically walking tanks in that armor. So they just take shots. Like, Mando gets shot like 7 or 8 times and just does nothing. And then eventually, like, he gets a ton of shots back to back and then he falls. But, like, yeah, no, Mando's a walking tank, and Boba also takes a few shots as well. But yeah, Freetown then arrive to save the day. They shoot down a bunch of the Pikes that have just arrived. The mods get there, and then Chrysanthemum, gets there. So apparently Chrysanthemum managed to break free of the pile of Trandoshans that were, attacking him. So yeah, the gang is all here, except for Fennec, who's, off on her own adventure. And the Gamorreans, who were thrown off a cliff. But yeah, we get a reference to the back to tank with Boba basically going to Chrysanthemum that he deserves along soaking the back to tank. He probably does. Chrysanthemum is elite, and he gets so much damage put upon him. But yeah, as the Pikes retreat, we are then introduced to spider turret droids, or what I'm going to call them, giant droidicas. Because they're legitimately giant destroyer droids with force shields, 3 legs, 2 turret arms. Literally, they are droidicas, just massive and don't turn into a ball. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, and the thing is, their shields are shown to be lightsaber proof because the darksaber's used against them and it does nothing. And then it's too high of a defense to walk through. Like, they can't pass through the shield, which is ridiculous, and that's actually shown directly by Chrysanthemum trying to get through, and then he just gets kicked by the droid. Well, the droid just goes, nah, you're not getting through, because he takes so long for him to push through the shield. These shields are ridiculous, honestly, and I don't get why, like, this technology isn't used by, the First Order, because, like, this is, like, it's immune to all blaster fire that we're shown, it's immune to Boba's rocket pack, it's immune to just walking through it. It's just, it's ridiculous. Grogu and Mando are reunited with the mechanic coming into the fray as well, with her army of droids. And then, as all hope seems lost, Deus Ex Rancor. And quite honestly, like, I didn't mention this, but like, Boba did just leave mid-fight. Like, he said to Mando, can you just protect people? And I've got a plan. And just flew off. And he comes back riding the Rancor, which, I mean, obviously was set up before. But we've literally only seen the Rancor in one other episode of this series. So, like, has Boba been learning to ride the Rancor while we've been, like, exploring Mando's adventure? Like, is that what's happening? But yeah, the Rancor managed to weaken the shield enough for Mando with the Darksaber to get through. Mando manages to cut off one of the turrets and stab the droid in the top of the head, which somehow doesn't deactivate the droid. Normally like doing any damage to the head just deactivates them, but whatever. And then Grogu just pulls a cog out of the leg, as it's about to kill Mando. So it, like, yeah, Deus Ex Grogu, Deus Ex Rancor, it's all the Deus Ex today. The Pikes are defeated generally, and we are shown essentially what is the minigame from Star Wars Connect, where you get to play as a Rancor destroying Tatooine, except for it's Boba Fett driving a Rancor. And I can't help but think that is a legitimate reference to Star Wars Connect. all we need now is we need to see Han Solo doing I'm Han Solo, I'm Han Solo, Solo. We need to see that in live action. Cad comes in, Cadbane comes in, he sets fire to the Rancor. The Rancor throws good old Boba off his back and runs away. And we have a Clone Wars reference to the scene that I always reference in terms of Boba and Cad Bane of the episode that never actually happened. We have storyboards for it and we have cinematics and stuff, but we never actually saw it happen, of Cad Bane and Boba Fett having a fight. And it's never outright said that that is where Boba gets the dent in his helmet from. But, they pretty much just referenced that in the Clone Wars they dealt with each other before. So, I mean, pretty much canonized. I'm not 100% sure. I hope that the episode actually gets made at some point. Clone Wars needs to come back in some way just to fill in the gaps. But, they have a little fight, a little skirmish. Cad decides to start monologuing rather than just killing Boba Fett, which is pretty par for the course with Cad. Cad's the kind of person just monologue. And, Boba just, beats him the hell up with the gaffy stick and stabs him in the heart. Yeah, Cad's dead. Cad's fucking dead. Cad Bane, potentially the greatest bounty hunter in the entire universe, according to, every time he's ever appeared, is dead at the hands of a gaffy stick held by Boba Fett. I can't help but feel that, the meme about Boba Fett just being, this clumsy fool who just manages to get lucky is so accurate, because he gets shot multiple times by Cad Bane, the sharpest shooter. Boba is not able to return fire at all, and it's only because Cad Bane just starts monologuing to him that he's able to hit him with a fucking stick. It's ridiculous. Cad Bane shouldn't have died. I was wrong about that, obviously, because I said that he was probably going to be left for dead, but not actually be shown to be killed. No, he's straight up, he gets stabbed in the chest, and we stay on his body for multiple seconds of him just being laid out. He's dead. Cad's dead. But, we then have a really nice reference to King Kong with the Rancor as it climbs a tower. There's actually art of the Rancor holding a female Twi'lek. A female Twi'lek, kind of like a direct homage to King Kong. We don't see that in the episode though, unfortunately, but it's some real good art. Grogu manages to stop the Rancor with the Force, which is something that I don't think we've ever seen, which is Force calm or Force sleep. Grogu legitimately just puts out his hand and the Rancor goes to sleep. And then, Grogu, because Grogu is really bad with the Force, but just falls asleep as well. So, Grogu just makes a Rancor go to sleep, and it takes all the energy out of him, and he just goes to sleep as well. And that's basically the main plot line. We then return with Fennec. Fennec straight up just shoots the 3 crime bosses who are having a meeting with the Pikes Syndicate, and then hangs the mayor straight up, just wraps a cord around his neck and hangs him from the ceiling, and then stabs the Syndicate leader in the back with a blade that is covered in green goo. So I don't know if it's a poison dagger or whether that's the blood of Pikes. I'm not really sure. I thought Pike blood was blue, but maybe it's green. I don't know. And all ends with Boba and Fennec walking the streets of Tatooine, of Mos Espa, with a load of people bowing to him and waving and nodding and stuff like that, just accepting him as their leader. And Boba's clan stays strong. Chrysanthemum is all good. The remaining mods are all good. It's a shame about the Gamorreans who just get fucking murked with no word about them, but here's what it is. And then we have a little scene with Mando and Grogu, with Grogu in the little astromech port asking to be shot into hyperspace or whatever. And Mando just does that, and that's the end of the episode. We have credits, as I said, there's that really good art of the Rancor holding the Twi'lek. And then we have Cobb Banff in Bacta being looked after by the Robodoc. So the Marshal looks to be a cyborg the next time we see him. I don't know if that means he's going to have a robot arm or a robot chest, or I don't know what, but he's going to be modified by the Robodoc. So that's interesting. I knew he wasn't dead because he got shot in the arm, but yeah, it's weird that it hurt him so much that he has to have back to he has to be in a back tank for time, and also apparently needs surgery. But I mean, hey, well, it's cool that we get to see more Cadbane in the future potentially, presumably in Mando season 3, sorry, which at this point I'm assuming this is later this year. With how little we know about the future of Star Wars right now, like Ahsoka's not until next year, I don't believe. The show about the guy from Rogue One, I can't remember the name of, that isn't until next year. So I think it's very likely we actually get Mandalorian season 3 this year. Like, as dumb as that sounds, like, I think it's pretty likely that later this year we're just gonna get Mando season 3. But yeah, this was not a good episode. I'll be honest. There was plenty of cool moments, and there's plenty of bits that I'm very excited to have seen. But like, I feel like because of all the Mando stuff that they had to fit in, there just wasn't enough time in this series, just generally, for Boba Fett. Because I still have no clue what Boba Fett, why he changed his ways, really, other than the fact he lived with Sand People for 4 years. Like, I don't know. It's a weird inconsistency of just like, this show is called Book of Boba Fett, and 2 chapters of the Book of Boba Fett are not about Boba Fett. 2 chapters of this story are actually just purely about Mandalorian and Grogu and Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka and R2-D2, I suppose. Like, it's such a weird thing to happen. It's like if Solo was mainly about Darth Maul. You know what I mean? Like, it's all right to have cameos by character. If Mando had appeared and Cadbane had appeared and Ahsoka had appeared, like, yeah, sure, that's cool, that's grand. I'm all for cameos, but like, Mando is like almost a majority of this series. Like, he's in 3 of the episodes, and his music is in 4 of them. Like, it's a 7-episode series, and half of it is Mandalorian themed. Like, it's so weird. But yeah, this series it's been alright. Coming out of, Doctor Who Flux and Hawkeye and stuff, like, I don't think this is anywhere close to the quality that I got from Hawkeye, and it's far and away above Doctor Who Flux. But yeah, I other than the 2 Mando episodes, I've been pretty disappointed in the series. And like I said it from the start, I really wanted it to get better. I'm glad that I did at least enjoy the Mandalorian episodes, and at the end of the day, the last 3 episodes you can just watch as Mandalorian 2.5 without any context of the rest of the Book of Boba Fett and be fine with it. But yeah, I don't know, this entire series has been questionable. I don't know, it's like, they said from the start it's Mandalorian 2.5, like it was always intended to be Mandalorian 2.5. I just wish it felt less like Mandalorian 2.5. It's like, I don't know, at the same time, it's like, I loved the Mandalorian sections, so it's like, the more Mandalorian it got, the better it was, but like, I don't know. It's a weird one. I've not seen much positivity for Book of Boba Fett, quite honestly. A lot of people are either complaining that it's a bit boring, or that Boba Fett is out of character, which I don't agree with personally. I think that he's pretty in character, all in all. His intentions are a bit weird, but like, or his reasons for having those intentions are a bit weird. But like, based on his appearances in Clone Wars especially, I can completely believe that this is just Boba Fett, how he is generally, because we see him for 6 minutes and like 8 lines in the original trilogy. Like, it's completely understandable that people that only watch the movies, that haven't watched the Clone Wars, are going to look at, the Book of Boba Fett and go, he's way out of character. He's not. He's very in character compared to like how he is in expanded media, in the Clone Wars, in the comics, in a few of the novels that he appears in. Like, he's very much someone that's all about loyalty. He's all about getting a job done, and it's like that's basically how he is. Sure, like you could say he went from being hyper violent to suddenly he's not, but like it's because he's restraining himself. Like, even Cad says it. Cad legitimately says, like, you got on soft. And Boba's just like, yeah, kind of. Because he knows full well that, like, that's what's happened, that he's gone a bit soft. Like, he's been softened by his time with the Tuscans and stuff. He's not a cold-blooded killer like Cad is anymore. Like, he may have been in his past, and that's very much what it seems to be. Like, Cad's like, you used to be a killer. Literally, Cad's final line before he's killed is, I knew you were a cold-blooded killer. That's the line to Boba. So it's like, the point is, Boba is a killer that's trying to, like, do the right thing. Like, I think even Cadbane says so much stuff that's, like, very much setting up, like, what Boba is. Of just, like, he says you tried to walk the straight and narrow and it just didn't work out and stuff. Like, Boba is trying to mend his ways. He's trying to be a good person after the incident with the Sarlacc pit. And, you know, things are just getting in the way that's stopping him from being a good person. Like, he's trying. That's the thing. He's not succeeding at being a good person. Like, people that... I don't know. This is becoming a rant. I didn't want it to be. But, yeah, that's going to be it for this thoughts video. I don't know if I'm going to do a review for the full series, just because I'm so backed up on other reviews. I still need to do the Flux review, still need to do the Hawkeye review. I've still got multiple movies, including Spider-Man, that I need to do the reviews for. We'll see. I've been ill for the last 2 weeks. If you missed the last episode, I'd mention it there, but I had COVID for the last 2 weeks. It was very bad COVID. I was pretty much bedbound for days, which is why last episode, the thoughts video, was pretty late. Well, it was literally a few hours ago. And, yeah, I don't know. It's also why there's just not been a Spider-Man review. There hasn't been a Matrix review. Those things were supposed to be coming out the last 2 weeks. They just haven't, because I haven't had time to record them or the energy to record them. But yeah. In any case, with all that ramble out of the way, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like it, subscribe if you're around here, and ring that bell so you never miss an upload. Also, comment below, what did you think of the series? Like, did you enjoy it? Did you think it was a letdown? I enjoyed parts of it, definitely. I'm probably going to rewatch some of it again. I've already watched episode 5 and 6 twice. So I'm probably going to watch the entire series once more over, just to fully get my ideas together. As I don't know if I'm going to do a review, but I might do. I don't know. It depends how I feel. But yeah, that's going to be it from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
It's been a long week. I feel like I could use a vacation.